equal to x squared minus 4. I'm going to distribute this plus 6x minus 12. So I need to move everything to one side of the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and move everything to the right. So I'm going to copy what I have on the right-hand side, and then subtract 4x, subtract 8 from both sides of the equation, so everything is equal to 0 now. So I get x squared, and then if I combine all the x here, I get 6 minus 4, that gives me plus 2x. And then here I have to add all these constants together. Okay, it looks like all have negative from them. Negative 12, negative 8, that would be negative 20, and negative 4 would be negative 24, equal to 0. Okay, so to solve for x, we're going to see if we can factor this. Is this factorable? Anyone? How do you factor this? Those of you following this live with me, can you tell me how do you factor this? You can open 2 parentheses like that, right? Equal to 0. This would be x. This would be x. That give me x squared. Now this is something that you're going to see on your next exam. You should know how to factor a polynomial like this. So for 24, the possibility would be 1 and 24. But here, since it's a multiple choice, you're going to look at this and see what would be the possible one. 4 and 6 looks like is one possible answer here. So maybe 4 and 6 would be 4 times 6, that give you 24. That's good. And then you're looking for 2 numbers. When you multiply them together, you get this constant here, which we do. 4 times 6 is 24. When you add them up, we want to get this coefficient of this x, which is 2. In order to make this 2, 6 must be equal to plus, 4 has to be minus. So that works. Negative 4 times positive 6, that give me plus 2. Negative 4 times plus 6 give me negative 24. Everything is there. So my solutions would be x minus 4 equal to 0. That's one solution. X minus 4 equal to 0. That means x equal to 4. Or x plus 6 is equal to 0. That means x equal to minus 6. So 4 and minus 6 should be the correct answer. X equal to 4 and x equal to minus 6. Don't make a mistake here. I've seen students pick negative 4 and 6 as answer. They think that these are factored, not the solution. So the factor would be negative 4 and 6, but the solution is 4 and negative 6. So the correct answer should be B here. Okay, so this is the problem that involves fraction over fraction. We call this complex fraction. When you have a complex fraction, instead of combining what we have at the bottom of the fraction, like in this case, and then change division to multiplication, the best step would be to multiply them by LCD. Okay, so we need to find LCD among everything. So it looks like the LCD, least common denominator among all these would be S times T. So I'm going to multiply each term by ST, or ST over 1. So it looks like I have one term here I have to multiply by ST, right here, ST over 1. I have one term here I have to multiply by ST over 1. Is that another one? And then I have this one, ST over 1. Remember why we're doing this. We do this to eliminate fractions. So this ST and this T turns to 1. This S and this S turns to 1. This T and this T turns to 1. So if you look carefully, you will have 16T squared minus 25S squared. This is it. You don't have any denominator there, over. At the bottom of the fraction, you can see S cancels. You get 4T, just 4T. And then minus, and here T cancels, you get 5S. You see, in one step, I eliminate the complex fraction. Now, as Oscar suggested, we can go ahead and factor this and see if we can reduce this. Looks like the top is difference of square, right? This would be 4t squared minus 5s squared, right? The top is 4t squared minus 5s squared. That's difference of square. So if I factor this, that would be 4t minus 5s times 4t plus 5s. So this is a part that requires you to know your factoring. So you should know how to factor difference of square. So right, the bottom of the fraction, I get 4t minus 5s. Looks like that cancels that. That becomes 1. So the whole thing would be equal to 4t plus 5s. And which one is the right answer? 4t plus 5x. You have to be very careful. Don't mix this up. You have 4 choices here. So 4t, they put 5s plus 4t. That's the same thing. That's the same as 5s plus 4t. And that is B. That would be the correct answer here. Okay, so this is another problem that you need to know for the final exam. Let's read the question. The current I in an electric conductor varies inversely as the resistance R. So let's stop right here. They're giving us 2 variables. I is the current, and then R as a resistance. If one variable, like I, varies respect to another variable like R, we have to read the question carefully, see if it varies directly or inversely. Either varies directly or inversely, you should have an equal sign between these two. So I is equal to R if it varies directly. If it varies directly, it would be I is equal to R with some constant K. That constant K is there for both of them, whether they are varies directly or inversely. If I would say I varies directly with respect to R, then this is how I would set them up. I is equal to some factor K times R. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying that I varies inversely. The K is still here. Inversely would be 1 over R. So inversely means as I increase R, I would decrease. As I decrease R, I would increase. If it varies directly, it goes directly. If I increase I, R increase. If I decrease I, R decreases. But that's not the case with the current and resistance. Would be they varies inversely. So this is the key term that you have to keep your eye on. Varies inversely or varies directly. This would be varies directly. This would be varies inversely. And that's what we want. All right. I need to know what K is because K is not given to me. K is some factor here. In order to find K, I need to know what the current is at that same time, and I need to know what their R is. So I need to know the value of R and I at any given point, kind of initial condition. I need to know the value of I and R at some point. If I know both of these, then I can solve for K. And if you read the question carefully, they give you that information. Let's read the rest. The current is 4 amps. They're giving you the current is 4 amps. This is a condition they're giving you. When the current is 4 amps, the resistance is 700. So they're giving you that initial condition. Okay, that's a symbol for ohms. Okay, so they're saying that when I is equal to 4, R is equal to 700. So all I need to do is just substitute that into this formula and solve for k. That's the only unknown is k. So simple as that. All right, to solve for k, I just multiply both sides by 700. So I get 4 times 700 is equal to k. So I'm doing it, I'm multiplying both sides by 700. If I multiply the right side by 700, multiply left-hand side by 700, then 700 cancels 700, then I get k is equal to 4 times 700. And that's k, 2800. So this is how you find k. In order to find k, you need to just have to know some initial condition, which always they have to give it to you in order to solve for k. So 2 things we have to know for this kind of problem. One is either varies directly or inversely, and then we have to have some initial condition. Sometimes they would give you the varies jointly. Jointly means maybe another variable was there, s, maybe r varies inversely, but s varies directly. If that's the case, then you have to put the s at the top of the fraction because that's directly. So you could have more than one variable that varies. In this case, it's only one. All right, since I know k is equal to 2800 now, my equation returns to I is equal to 2800 times 1 over r. Now I can solve for any other conditions, and usually they ask you to find something at the end, which they're doing right here. They're saying that what is the current, what is I, when the resistance is 493? It's pretty simple, right? So I is equal to 2800. I'm just going to replace R with 493. Okay, so those of you with the calculator, you can go ahead and use your calculator for that, right? All right, let's bring the calculator out. Okay. I'm curious, can you guys see the calculator? Okay, I'm going to clear that out. And here we got 2800 divided by 493. Enter. They give me, the current would be 5.6795. That is ohm. Now it says to, you probably need to bring that, see which one is closer to that. So 5.679 is close to 5.7. When you round this, I get 5.7. Now it looks like D is the closest answer for me. D says I is equal to 5.7. Did I say ohm here? It says amps. Okay, so ohms is the unit for the resistance. Okay, and amps is the unit for current. So let's fix that here. Okay, so that would be the unit of current is amps, and the unit of resistance ohms. So there it is. So the current must be equal to 5.7 amps, and that would be D. So the question is, what's the difference between I is equal to K times R, or I is equal to K times 1 over R? When it says I varies directly with respect to R, then we would write as I is equal to some factor K times R. When they say I varies inversely, then you would put I times some factor K times 1 over R. So inversely would be 1 over that variable. So it could be jointly, like I said. So if I say A varies means K, let's say varies directly with B, but inversely at the same time with C. So this is how you would set that up. So A varies directly with B, inversely with C. So you would write A is equal to K times B times 1 over c. Okay, and in order to solve this, then I need to know what k is. So somebody should give me the value of a, b, c at one time as an initial condition to solve for k. And once I find what k is, then if somebody give me a and b, I can solve for c, or somebody give me b and c, I can solve for a, and so on. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to do this problem here. This is a practice final exam. We have 3x to the power of 3 over 5 times x to the power of 11 over 5 minus 7x. So basically, you need to distribute here. And remember, we had a property a to the power of n times a to the power of m. We would add the exponents, and a to the power of n plus m. So in this case, we get 3 times x to the power of, in order to multiply this, I need to add the exponents. It would be 3 over 5 plus 11 over 5 minus, I'm going to distribute 3 times 7, 21, times x to the power of 3 over 5. And this is 1. So it would be, you're going to add the exponents, would be plus 1, or 1 over 1. Okay, the first one would be 3x. And if I add this, the LCD is the same. So that would be 3 plus 11. That would be 14 over 5 minus 21x. Here the LCD is 5. I'm going to write it as 5 over 5. So that would be 5 plus 3 over 5, 8 over 5. Okay, so now I'm going to look and see if I have that as one of my options. If I do, I'm done. I have 3x to the power of 14 over 5 minus 21x to the power of 4. It looks like B is one of those options that I have up there, and I'm done. As long as the exponents are positive and reduced, we can stop, and B is the correct answer for us. Here is another example for your final exam preparation. We have x to the power of 8, y to the power of 8, and the whole thing is to the power of 1 over 5. You want to make sure that we simplify this. And it says write with radicals, assume that all variables represent positive real number. Okay, you want to change this to the radical. All right, so you need to know if the property here, the formula for that. If I have, the first thing is we can do here to write this as, if I have square root or nth root of x to the power of m. Okay, you may want to everybody write this in your summary sheet. Nth root of x to the power of m is the same as x to the power of m over n. Okay. So another one is that you need to know this can also be written as nth root of x and then the raised to the power of m. This would be the same thing, x to the power of m over n. So you may want to write this two formula somewhere. And that's basically what we're going to use here. So in this case, your x is, I can separate this to show you better maybe. If I write this as x, this would be 8 over 5, y to the power of 8 over 5. If you separate this, maybe we can see this better. So this would be, the number at the bottom of the fraction is your root, as you can see. See, the number at the bottom of the fraction is your root. So it's nth root, that would be a number goes to the bottom of the fraction. So this one, if I want to write it as a radical, this would be 5th root of x to the power of 8. I can put the 8 over here, or I can put the 8 over here. It's up to me how I want to put that one. Similarly, the next one would be 5th root of y Again, I can put the top number here either at the right the exponents for x or at the top here. I'm going to put it at the top because that's how to find the final answer. So if I combine these two together, really is 5th root of xy to the power of 8. That's how you write it in terms of this radical. And looks like that B is the right choice here for us. This would be another problem that you need to know for final exam. You want to find the distance between 2 points. Okay. Anybody remember the formula for that? You need to know the formula for the distance. This is the formula right here. Distance would be square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. And you want to label these points. So the first point they're giving to me as 6 and minus 1. It's really up to you which one you want to call point 1, which one you want to call point 2. If I assume this is point 1, this would be x1, this would be y1. And if I assume the second one is point 2, this would be x2, this would be y2. That's all I have to do now is just plug the number into this formula to find the distance between those 2 points. x2 is equal to 2, x1 is equal to 6, and we write square here, plus y2 is minus 7, minus y1 is minus 1. Be careful with the signs. Okay, here would be 2 minus 6, that would be minus 4. This would be minus 4. And then here we have negative 7, negative and negative would be plus 1, so that would be negative 6. So then we need to square these. So here we have negative 4 squared, that give me, we still have that square root here, that would be 4 times 4 is 16, negative 4 times negative 4 would be plus 16, plus, and then negative 6 squared, this square would make these numbers positive if there is any negative sign in front of that. So it would be 36. Okay, so the distance would be square root of, we add these up, 52. So basically you add 16 and 36, and you take the square root of that. Now, you can write it as square root of 52, or you can simplify that. So square root of 52 is not one of the options here, so I need to simplify that. So if I take 52, let's break 52 to its prime numbers, see if I can reduce that. Okay, so if I divide 2 into 52, half of 52, that would be equal to 26, right? So I would write 26 here, and half of that would be, so you divide 2 into 26, that give me 13. 13 is prime, so 13 goes to 13. So you get, once you get 1 here, it's done. So we break 52's prime numbers, that would be 2 times 2 times 13. So what that means is, this is the same as saying radical 4 times radical 13. Radical 4 is 2, so portion of 52 is perfectly squared. So the whole thing should be equal to 2 radical 13. And we do have that option here. C is the correct answer here.